All right, guys, so welcome back. So first off, I'm going to apologize for the mess. I'm kind of over in my dumping ground slash office right now. And obviously you can see my computer screen there. And I'm going to just show you a bit of work that I've been doing. And I'm going to show you what I'm working on as we go along here. So as I said, this is the back section to my layout, my helix being way back there. Basically, so when you go to the top of this giant curve here, it does split into two tracks, as a run around or a track where you like a passing siding almost, because there's an industry on at the top of it there. So when you go down this way and you go all the way around, you follow that right down, it goes under the bridge and it goes right around to the train station, and then it goes to the helix, and it's just one single line. So I wanted to make sure that if a train was coming, from through there and then coming up this way here, that, it would be able to pull over to the side if something was coming down this way. So basically, I'm just adding a siding on here. It's about 6 feet long. It took two pieces of cork, which are about 3 feet long. And I was able to, I had an extra riser. You can see that there's a riser there. And it goes right from flat and it goes up, I think, like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch or something. And then I used a piece of foam and I put the foam in there and I brought it right up level with this here. Then you'll see I had to cut out a piece of wood there, which is fine because that's like this entire round piece here that comes in like this and it goes up. That's all one single piece that was cut. And then there's an inside piece that's holding all this up. That's just sitting there right now. It's not nailed down or anything. So it's just two little cuts going in after I had removed a good sized piece of track here. And it is a little bit on the curve, but it works for my number 7. So basically, besides the pins that are there, let's kind of sit that like that. There we go. So yeah, the number 7, it'll come in and then it curves and it goes straight down. And then I also added the side here, which it just comes off of that. And then I'm going to add another number 7 down there at that end. I had to widen, obviously, this hole here just a little bit, like 3-4 inches or so. And I did the same thing on the back side as well, or on the opposite side. Now, just in case you're wondering why I had to do this, well, because I'm using the Walthers switch machines. Basically, I need it to just be the thickness of the wood between the actual machine and then the cork, right? Cork wood bed, and then the track. Because the rod, the throwing rod that goes up through it, is only so long. So I can't really put the rod through the riser, the wood, the cork, and the track. So it was an easy fix. Obviously I just take the piece of wood that I cut out and wedge it in there, and then I glued it in place. And I mean, like, that's not going anywhere. Hot glue worked really well, and it's pretty tight in there. And then I glued down cork on top of it, so that's just curing, and it'll all get covered anyways. You won't know the difference here between the wood top and the foam top, because it's gonna get all ballasted and whatnot. Won't matter anyways. And then obviously the fascia will go on the front of that, and none's the wiser, right? So that's just what I've been kind of working on here, and let's keep going. Next up are my bridges. Now, I do have 3 of these. Some of them had some very minor repairs that I had to deal with, which isn't a big issue. And I was able to paint these two. These two are, they're black. I'm not sure what color I should do, but I'm pretty sure I'll paint them some sort of color. Maybe a green, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think? What color should I do the bridges? I have to do all 3 of them the same color, but Then we've got, obviously, this one here is over for repairs. You can tell because I got my beans holding it. Beans are good for your heart. And they also hold things in place while they're drying. There we go. Yeah, one of these little kinky pieces fell off there, so I just glued it back on. And because they were already painted, I had to use a Gorilla Glue because the other glue I had just wasn't holding the piece on. So I used a bit of the... I mean, this stuff is really good. Like, if you've got a piece that you do not want to lose, if you want to glue it to, you know, a painted plastic to painted plastic, you want to glue your finger to your forehead and you never want to remove it, trust me, this is the stuff to use. It's super thick too, like this stuff. Oh my gosh, can you see that? Like yeah, it's thick. But yeah, it seems to hold really well. Like I said, there was a couple of repair pieces on this that I had to fix, and you can't even really tell. So this is going to go ahead to the paint shop, and eventually this one will be black, just like these two here. Just got to figure out what color to do over the black. I'm not sure yet, so let me know in the description or the comments below, and tell me what you think I should do once it's painted black. So my mess is kind of relocated to my yard here. You can see I've got like a whole bunch of stuff. Obviously I got some stuff that is from the live show. You're obviously viewing this after the live show, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, so you can see I'm kind of continuing the backdrop around here. I made it around the corner, and I'm basically halfway through this back section here, about ready to put on my last 2 pieces or 1.5 pieces. Yeah, I've still got a couple more to go. I think I'm more than halfway through this thing already, and then it's just a matter of finishing right up to the end of the Canadian Tire building. So I had to, obviously I got rid of all my stuff here. I still have to move the building and whatnot. I'll get rid of that cork and that building that's in there. Basically just moved all my cars to the Helix. You can see them moseying around there. And yeah, basically I just got to continue on with this. So for here, it's going to be a little different because obviously I'm using like full length pieces here. I'm going to make sure that there's a piece in here that goes to, you know, roughly about there all the way down, and then the rest of it's going to be not all the way down. I'm going to cut it short, and then obviously because there's trains that are going to run under here, I have to make sure that that section is clear of any kind of backdrop or anything that would be obstructing it, and then that way they'll be clear sailing right through the back there. And I'm just, you know, kind of gluing it as I go. And you know, like literally I just have to get to there, and then this entire section on this side will be done. So let's do that. Let's get this over and done with now, and then I can move on to something else. Okay, so this is kind of where we left off here. Guess I don't need these on here anymore. That's was holding that. I had a few issues, and it's gonna be all right. It's nothing major, but like when I got to this corner here, because I didn't take off any of this stuff, I just left that as is. I had some issues getting in and, you know, whatnot. It totally looks fine though. Like when I look at it like this, doesn't look like there's any issues. And we continue around this way, and it gets capped off right there. So I'm done all the way around. I'm just gonna throw the buildings where they're supposed to go here just to get a better look at it, and we'll come right back. Okay, so we're just kind of sitting back here, gonna take a look. Kind of reminds me of the old layout, don't you think, with the clouds right above it? Mind you, the cloud system that I had going on behind the Canadian Tire building was the red sky, the dawn or whatever it was, and this here, it's a little bit different. Obviously we've got the blue skies with the overcast, and you know, obviously some greenery and whatnot, and some trees going on in the background. Some of them will get covered, some of them I'll blend it in with more you know, tree just to make it pop a little bit more. And obviously we gotta put the bridge back in still and whatnot, but basically it goes all the way around the bottom level now. I'm just gonna disregard the mess, but it does, yeah, it does go all the way to the back. And I think I've got a good, I don't know how much is left. So 40 feet minus, I guess, 2.5 feet. I could have done it right to the back corner there, like right to there, but I don't really care. You know, better safe than sorry, but yeah, it looks like it's basically just under 40 feet. It's about 37.5 feet that I went all the way around here, but it's better to have extra than not enough. And lastly, I've also been working on my bridge track here. You can see that I've already painted it, so there's no more that white glue, that dry glue look about it. I used obviously the same paint that I always do, the camo brown. I sprayed the whole thing end to end. I left a little bit, so I taped it off, you know, like that at each end, so that I've got a clean contact for when I solder it. And then once it's soldered, I can always go back over. And then I just I cleaned my rails here. This is what I use. This is from Pico, and obviously I've had this for a while. This is just it's my eraser. I use it to clean my track, but it works really well at taking the paint off the top. Some people use like a paint thinner on a napkin, and then they just, you know, wipe it along. But this literally, I go like this, and all the paint off the top comes right off. And that's after, you know, letting it dry and whatnot. So I'm not getting my hands messy or anything like that. And this is good to go. I'm obviously going to weather it a little bit more. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I have the other one to do still. I've got a couple of pieces, like little spots where I have to put ties back in. And other than that, that one's good for paint as well. So the bridge is really taking shape, but again, I'm not going to put it in, and I'm not going to make it permanent until the actual bridge is painted and whatnot. So we just got to do that and figure that out and do the land underneath and behind before this gets permanently soldered in place, and we can use the bridge without having to worry about taking it apart again or anything like that.